Welcome to Monday Meditations with Paul and Carol. Today is February 22nd, 2021, and the final Monday with the theme of God is Love. Recently, I've shared during this time and also at Mountain View Congregational Church some of my thoughts on the idea that God, in His love for us, sees us as beautiful, that He adores us, that He sings over us with joy. When I think of our relationship in that context, I realize that I am thinking of my relationship with Him as God the Father. And since my relationship with my earthly father was such a positive one, it makes it even easier to have this sense that my Heavenly Father looks on me with a positive light, generously so. But today I'd like to spend our time examining another facet of human relationships with this idea of God is love. The side of love that I'd like for us to ponder is friendship. In the Gospel of John, chapter 15, in the middle of speaking to His disciples after the Last Supper, Jesus says, "Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends, if you do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you." I say that God the Father looks at me and sees someone beautiful. I'm good with that. I accept that. As my dad would say, my knower knows that. But can I say that I get it when or if God the Son looks at me and calls me friend? I confess I am somewhat haunted by doubt when I think of this description of my relationship with Him. Is that partly because in some moments of self-reflection I feel that I'm not particularly adept at being a good friend? What else do I know about friendship, particularly friendship with Jesus? There are a few other places in the Gospels where this concept is briefly yet significantly addressed. Most of us are familiar with the story of Lazarus, brother of Mary and Martha. Jesus refers to him as friend Lazarus, then weeps over his death, weeps in a manner that causes those in the town to marvel at the love he must have had for this friend. After Jesus' death on the cross, after His resurrection, He appeared to Peter, whom He had called friend at the Last Supper, and said to him 3 times, "Do you love me? Then feed my sheep." All of that is just an opening monologue that sets the stage for 2 guest commentators I am inviting in now to be a part of this discussion on friendship. The first of those guests is C.S. Lewis. I may be referring to some of the things he has written on the topic. My other guest is someone that in my eyes has always found friendship to be natural, as demonstrated by the many different friendships she has cultivated over the years. Carol, come over here, join me, and let's move into this unscripted portion of this Monday meditation. So let me start by just asking you, I say, yeah, those moments of self-reflection, I'm not sure I'm always a very good friend. Do you think of yourself as a good friend?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get there?
I think some of it is, I guess it's a priority of just wanting to have relationships with people, but in order to do that, you have to be willing to spend time with them, to reach out to people, to have that a part of your life, to find out about them, spend time. I have different types of friendships. There's different ways I'm friends with different people, but
Yeah.
the common thing is that willingness to spend time with them.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis says, the typical expression of opening friendship would be something like, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." Is that, can you say that that's true for some of your friendships, that you found someone that you connected in some way that's different and unique perhaps from some others?
Yeah. Yeah.
And in going through this, one of the things that has gone through my head is I feel like I want to thank you for the times when you've allowed me to join in a friendship. Lewis talks about the fact that a friendship will often start between two. But one thing that's different about friendship than eros, we could talk about the four loves, eros being one of those, phileo being that friendship love, storge being affection, agape, that unconditional love. Lewis says that eros clearly is between two people. Friendship is perfectly fine with there being more if they fit into that. And the point is, thank you. I feel like I've become friends with Kelly. I feel like I've become friends with April. They don't just show up and talk to you, they actually talk to me. It feels like they like me. And that's part of that being in the group, I guess, and not necessarily feeling like that you have anything to prove in order to be in the group. If I go back and I think about what Lewis has said and some of my own feelings about this, I can find myself saying that in that relationship that Jesus had with his disciples, there were many of them that felt like they had something to prove. I think Peter is like that. I think Judas was like that. I think that they were at different times as Jesus was trying to develop what would be a godly friendship with them, that they were lost in that world of lesser friendship, earthly friendship.
Well, I mean, and then there's, who's going to be sitting at the right hand of God?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Sitting next to that special that special person. What are some of the are there unique connections that you feel like, oh, I've got this connection with this person and really not very many others that I connect in a certain way with? Can you talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I have, your cousin, Anita, is one. And,
Yes.
And we've called each other kindred spirits, which is from the Anna Green Gables book. And yeah, just early on, when we moved to Meridian, and I don't know how long it was that we started spending time together, but yeah, there was just a special connection between the two of us. We just had a lot of things. We thought a lot alike. We had a lot of the same interests. I just felt like we could be real with one another, and it was just very, very special, and it's continued on, even though we lived here for over 20 years now, that is a special connection. She's someone, when I go down to Meridian, that I want to see and spend time with. So yeah, that's an example of one of those.
Oh, and I think of, as I was listening to you, I'm thinking, oh, is that the relationship that Jesus is calling me to? And I want to say, oh, there are some things that you said that I went, yeah, yes, I want that. I want to be able to have that. Lewis quotes writer Ralph Waldo Emerson at one point and says that in this love of friendship, that the question, do you love me, which Jesus asks of Peter, Emerson says that means, and that means for human beings, do you see the same truth? Do you care about the same truth? And I can hear that in Jesus' words to Peter. Peter, do you love me? Do you see the same truth that I see? If so, feed my sheep. Feed my sheep with that truth. One of the things that sort of gets me about this conversation about friendship, and we'll go just a little bit further because I could go for a long time. This is really fun. I'm talking with one of my best friends here. What do you think of this? To say, these are my friends, implies that those are not. Any reactions to that?
I think there's different kinds of friends. I think some people, like I think of what people say about your brother Kevin. He's never met a stranger. There's certain people like that.
Yes.
And it's, they can kind of meet anybody and strike up some kind of relationship. I don't know if you'd call it a friendship, but, there's something going on there. And sometimes it might be even your own personal definition of what is a friend. I just have a lot of different groups in my life, I guess. And all of them are kind of different types of friendships. I have my group of friends that I grew up with, and we graduated from high school together. And when I moved back here 20 years ago, we were kind of at times in our lives, we kind of gone through we've out of the baby stage, and now we have a little more freedom, and let's start getting together. And at first we got together once a year. We met for Christmas, and we got together, and then we started, as we got older, and again as our kids started getting older, we decided, well, let's spend a little more time together, and so it kind of developed into more than once a year. And then I have my college friends. The girls that I went to were in my sorority in college, and specifically my pledge class sisters, and that's something just a few years ago we decided to start trying to get together once a year. And because we would have reunions for our sorority about every 5 years, but we decided we wanted to start seeing each other more. And so, and again, you have a lot of, that's a different type of friendship than, say, the girls I grew up with. I have a group of ladies in a book group. I've been with them about 20 years. Some of them not quite as long, but that's a different kind of friendship. Something that, here's a group of women, some of them I only see them once a month, but we have this bond of, we like books, we like to talk about, things happening in the world, and that's a different kind of friendship. I probably it's probably rare that I socialize outside of that book group with any of those women. But yet we have that friendship based on our love of books and good food, and so that's a different kind. You know, I have friends at church that I have relationships with. Been starting some new relationships, kind of in more of a discipleship kind of way, where I reached out and now I have someone discipling me. I'm going to start discipling someone. I have, you know, other friendships that those alongside of me, and those are different types of, even those are different types of friendship, each of those kind of things. And then, you know, just different other things that I'm involved in. Again, some people I'm closer to than others, but yet I have a lot of friends, and they're just different kinds of friends.
A thought as you were talking again was that I don't know that I've ever thought of friendship as an end product of discipleship. But clearly that was the direction that, part of the direction that Jesus was taking this.
Mm-hmm.
True friendship, real friendship, authentic friendship, friendship that lasts. That does not have to mean that you spend that does not mean equal amount of time spent with every person that I'm a friend. Again, boy, my mind is going about thinking about Jesus pulling away. Part of C.S. Lewis talks about that you recognize friendship sometimes when that smaller group pulls away from the larger group. Well, Jesus did that. Mm-hmm. Went off by himself, went off and took 2 or 3 with him. It was not all the same all of the time, but he looked at them and said, we're at that point in our discipleship relationship where I'm calling you friend. That's fascinating. Mm-hmm. That's really good. I can tell that this is going to be an area that I'm going to want to continue to look at. That's one of the reasons why Carol and I are enjoying this, all of this process of putting together some ideas to share with you, and share with each other, and because I recognize, I think I recognize sort of that weakness in me, in some senses. Doesn't have to be weakness, could just be difference. But I can tell that this is going to stick with me. I'm going to want to keep looking at this. But that's probably enough for one session. So we'd like to thank you again for joining us. Again, it's the end of this month. Carol, what's our theme next month?
Lent.
Oh, that's
preparing
right.
for Easter, getting our hearts ready, exploring what happened in the week coming up to Easter, and so we're going to be talking about that.
I had someone who said to me recently, I've never known a Protestant that was going to give up something for Lent. Yeah, we want to explore. We want to explore all of those areas that the greater church has explored over the years in a way for us to drive her closer to the story, the magnificent story of Jesus Christ. So again, thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing those of you that can join us on Thursday evenings, 6 o'clock at Mountain View. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Bye-bye.